Hey guys, Animeicas here. So I wanted to talk about how I think the body is fundamental to feeling aligned. Now, we hear that word a lot, like alignment. You want to have a life that has alignment. You want to experience life through like a sense of alignment. A lot of spiritual circles talk about alignment. I just kind of wondered like what is the mechanism in which someone can feel aligned in their life? And I feel like the mechanism is to focus on the body, like the body as like the center for one's alignment. Now, let me explain because all of that was super abstract. So let's get more into the details. So what I believe is that like your body is also like your warehouse for your energy. It also contains all your emotions and all your thoughts as well. Like the body is fundamental. Like people only have one body. So in a way, like our individuality and who we are is contained in this physical form, like in this body. I'm not getting into whether there's something after the body or if there's something higher or a soul. That's not really what I'm talking about right now, but I'm just saying that there's like a mechanism within the body where it's unique to you. It's just yours. Um, and learning how it works is very key to kind of discovering who you are and how you can get that sense of alignment. I feel like alignment is when you're kind of well placed in your body and you're like, you know what, this feels right. And that can apply to so many things in your life. Like it can apply to your diet, it can apply to something you're watching. Like when you're really enjoying something, the emotions in your body are kind of alive, and that means you're probably supposed to watch that thing in that moment and you feel a sense of alignment. Like, have you guys ever tried to like force yourself to watch something? Maybe you're just tired. Maybe you're just exhausted, or maybe it's something that you're not supposed to watch and you don't really enjoy it. Sorry. Like that would mean that in that moment that you're not actually aligned to what you're doing, that you're out of a certain sense of alignment. So for example, like let's say you are like rewatching your favorite show, right? But then you're like, why am I enjoying this at this moment? It's my favorite show, so obviously I have to enjoy it at every moment. But it doesn't really work like that. Like sometimes your body has a mind of its own and it's just not interested in that moment to do that thing. So in that way you're kind of out of alignment. Like your mind is going, "Oh, I need to do this thing because mentally I see myself as someone who likes that thing, so let me go do it." But your body is like, "Well, I'm not, I'm not really into that vibe right now. This is not what it's about right now." So your body provides like all this information in what you should be focusing on, in what you should be directing your attention towards. It is, like one of the centers to where you should be putting your attention. Like if your body feels alive when you're doing something, or when you're with someone, or when you're with certain people, or when you're in a certain environment, it's a very good indication that you should return to that thing. But even more than that, it's a better indication that maybe we should start from that place. Like start thinking about things from the place of, okay, like how is my body reacting to this? Regardless of whether you think it's like a good idea in your head, or regardless of whether you think it would be worth doing like mentally, if you kind of like close your mind off and just go into like what your body wants to do in that moment, and have a certain amount of faith and trust that if you allow for that alignment to occur through your body, that it will choose correctly. I think that's where some level of alignment can come along. Like I think that's where you can actually discover like where you're actually supposed to put your attention towards. I think this can even help with careers and stuff. Like if you put yourself, let's just say you did some volunteering thing, right? And let's just say you were trying to figure out if you would enjoy gardening as a career. If you volunteer to be to help out, then you could be like, oh, mentally, like, this makes a lot of logical sense. therefore I should do this. But then once you actually go and experience it, and you actually, live the experience, right, which is to actually take that experience on and channel it through your body. Like your body is the thing that actually can, like go through life. Like your mind doesn't go through life, your body experiences life, and then your mind creates stories about like what you're doing. So your body will know whether if it's a good experience for you, because you'll feel this sense of like kind of like alignment through your spine, or you'll get this feeling of like, man, my energy got like sapped like the whole time, and it's not that binary. Like it's not going to be like, oh, this experience, it like the whole thing was just this feeling of alignment. Like you're going to have moments where you're not feeling a sense of alignment, but what that means is it's not about whether you should be doing that thing or you shouldn't be. It's just calling on you to look more within once again, to see how your body's reacting. Like if you have faith in your body's reactions, you can just kind of go into the unknown with that feeling and be like, well, what's it actually telling me in this moment? You're like, in the gardening example, you're like gardening and stuff, you're helping out, and you're like, you know what, I feel my energy getting sucked out of my body right now. What's going on? And then you take a deep breath, you get still in your body, and then maybe you try a different task, and you're like, oh, my body's reacting better to this. Maybe this is where I need to go. It's like that moment where the energy leaves your body is information that you're doing something that's out of alignment in that moment. So it's good information when you want to like pivot to something else, or when you want to do something else. And then maybe when that part, feels kind of draining, it's calling on you to pivot to something else again, or maybe return to that thing you were doing before, because you were feeling aligned before, but now you're not. So it's almost like the body is the thing that's making the choices, and it's not really your mind. And it's your job to find like a synergy between your mind, like what your mind wants to do and what your body wants to do. But really, I think the body is the thing that's calling the shots, and the body is the thing that understands what is actually good for you. Like the body knows, like the mind believes, but the body actually knows. So I think developing like a relationship with one's body, with one's emotions, with one's reactions over time, because this is a very difficult process, but over time, you really do get to understand how you need to navigate the world, like for yourself. It's like important information, right? We tend to think of information like, I read a book and then, I can consume a book and now I understand. But it's like the actual lived experience of something is like real knowledge, in my opinion. Like that's like real knowledge that applies to your life that you can actually use. Like if you're just getting information from something else, you're looking outside of yourself to understand where you should be putting your attention towards. That's not real knowledge, you're just copying someone else. I'm not saying there's not any value to that, because you might get good ideas from outside of yourself, but it's not like there's information that you should, act with, and you should get what you need from that. But then there's information that is very much for you, and information that you need to pay attention to. And a lot of that information comes from your lived experience, comes from your body's reactions, comes from your emotions. Like those are the grounding things that will really tell you where you need to put your attention towards. So yeah, that's what I think about like how the body is just fundamental to where one puts their attention, and how one gets to a point where they feel a sense of alignment, where they feel, and that's like a very specific feeling. It's not just feels good, feels bad. Like as you explore like the reactions and the emotions, like a sense of alignment is actually very specific. It's a very specific sensation. But a lot of us, because we're kind of taught this way to just like think about stuff, be practical, use your brain, all that stuff. Like we're not really trained to understand sensation, but sensation is just fundamental. Like sensation is one of the realest ways to really understand yourself, to understand the world. I think it's like a practice that one needs to cultivate. Now, I'm not saying that everyone needs to do what I'm doing, but I've found, at least for my life, that understanding sensation and understanding my bodily sensations has been absolutely fundamental for everything. Understanding my emotions. And when I say understand, I'm not saying understand in my mind. I'll eventually create a story as I go through that, but to really understand it as like something I've like digested. So yeah, that's what I think about the relationship between the body and alignment. Thanks for listening.